Would you say alt tab?
Okay, it's 7:01. I will call the meeting of the Wyomissing Borough Council to order. Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the
flag
flag
In the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before I take call roll, just to make it known that spirit of full disclosure and transparency, this meeting is being recorded for public consumption. And with that, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brunner will be absent. Councilmember Stanko. Councilmember Reimer. Councilmember Mogul. Councilmember Barnett. Councilmember Weinhofer.
Here.
And Council President Jenks.
Here. Okay, for tonight's meeting, we did have an executive session where professional services and contracts were discussed. At this point, I'll entertain public comment as they are on tonight's agenda items only. Are there any public comments? Sir, please state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Dr. Alan Howard. I'm at 61 Wellington Boulevard. I guess it would have to do with item number 7 under the food activity for this month. We had a disturbance not this past Sunday, but Sunday before. Actually, 2 doors up from my residence. Those of you who might know, it involved a total number of 3 different police calls, the third of which involved shots fired, which literally was down the street from my house. Speaking with the neighbors, I wasn't certain if this was the correct venue to come to, but certainly a number of the neighbors were quite terrorized. But the woman who lives next door to where the incident actually occurred is a 90-year-old woman who lives by herself, who was awake at the time. Looking at the different ordinances, thinking about the recourse that we as neighbors and as a neighborhood may have, not just from a preventative perspective, but from a reactionary perspective as it was occurring. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to come tonight is because I'm not certain if our ordinances really quite covered what was occurring. I noticed that there's no noise ordinance necessarily beyond animals, unless I'm mistaken, but I didn't find it on the borough's website. The party actually started mid-afternoon. By 5 o'clock, there had to be a few hundred people or more in the back doors of this particular residence. The noise was amazing. It was just amazing. But again, there was necessarily no noise ordinance to call on, and I think a lot of us as neighbors were a little hesitant to call. At about 9:15 is when the noise suddenly stopped. We assumed that the police had been called, and it seems that they were, but it wasn't noise related. It was related to the number of people that were on the street, as well as people on a second call, the people that were littering the streets. But it was very obvious from the number of people that were strewn across the neighborhood that there was underage drinking that was occurring, and a lot of other seemingly nefarious activity that we were concerned about. And again, it didn't seem that there was a particular ordinance that met that. When we looking deeper, I know within the housing ordinances, there's one that is specific for rental properties, but there's not one that is for residence properties. And conduct was becoming more and more an issue, and obviously culminated at like 2:45 in the morning with the shots fired. So I think one of our concerns was what recourse do we have? What ordinances are we covered under? And from a proactionary perspective, what can we do to confirm that, or at least be empowered to react if we see similar thing escalated. I will say this, I did speak to one of the neighbors, to that particular residence. I spoke to the daughter. She was very apologetic, though I know that hasn't got out to the public itself. Um, and it does seem, from their perspective, that things got out of hand. But we wanted to at least bring this forward, since I'm the only one representing the neighborhood. It seems that I'm the one that has the blessing of doing that. Oh, thank you. I am so glad to hear. So that's basically what I wanted to put forth for you.
Thank you.
If I may,
Mr. Mayor?
another of your neighbors approached me, whether I know, spoke at some point. I had heard and spoke to our unfortunately, we're on the job right now. A bunch of our other officers are the same sort of personality. So first of all, never, ever, ever hesitate to call. There's no like that ever. As far as those ordinances are concerned, we have considered them overturned. They sound like a great law, but they're very, very difficult to properly enforce. Um, but always call. And I spoke to the chief. He can't be here. I asked him to prepare for bigger council visitors. And unfortunately, I can't speak for him because since that conversation. But when you signed in, you have your contact info or whatever. I'll ask the chief to get back to you to follow up and that sort of thing. We also have fire and police committee. In our way of doing things, kind of do our heavy lifting with the trees. So when we come to council, that we don't get into that line of case for the most part. So our next fire and police committee, which is Sean,
2 Mondays from now.
2 Mondays from now, that's a meeting. You're able to, you're more than welcome to come to that as a public meeting. And what's in the meantime, I will follow up for it.
Can I just add one second, sir?
I'll look it up.
Okay, so I think what the mayor really, is stating, he's aware of it, I am aware of it, because I received complaints also about it. There's an active investigation that involves a lot of different areas, of that, and of that issue. So, and I just have to go with that, but anything more, please, contact the police chief, and as the mayor said, never hesitate to call us, call the police department for anything. That's what they're here for. Okay? Sure. Just need your name and address for the record.
Kevin Wickman, 40 Devonshire, catty corner to the Wellington Devonshire Street. But, last time I probably addressed you guys here was probably like 25 years ago. I was involved with the Little League here, Diane Hollander, I know Ron. I was president of the league for a number of years for Jim Fab. I guess Jim's still working.
Right in front of you.
Very good. Thank you. Still here. All that working too. But yeah, just to add, you did a very great job summarizing. But I've lived there almost
Just to say, sir, you have 5 minutes, so.
I've lived there 30 years. I mean, shots fired in the neighborhood, guys. Something's got to be done. That is not tolerable. That's just unacceptable. There's kids, the neighborhood's turning over. We turned the neighborhood over in '96 when I moved in. A lot of old, people were getting old and they were moving, and we were young people coming in. But that's happening again. There's more young kids in the neighborhood. And I know you guys have probably heard certain things about speed in the neighborhoods. And their cars going through stops fast. I mean, but the shots, and I think, again, some shots are fired. Casings were collected. I mean, please, I'm not sure what I'm asking for. These people to do their due diligence and find out what's up, track this and find out who it was. Do a little homework here. I encourage you guys, let's find this and, stop it. And I don't know if we have is there, what, So anyway, I'm emotional now. I want you guys to do your work, please. And this just doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen. I know times are changing, but please see it through.
As I said, there's an active investigation.
Thank you.
And believe me when I say that our police department takes this as serious as you do.
That's good to hear.
And the goal of council as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other public comments? Yes, sir. Please
Sure.
state your name and your address.
My name is Matt Garvin, and I'm the owner of 69 Wellington. So I'm here. I came specifically to find out what were concerns from the community. Full disclosure, I was not in town. My son I found out after the fact on Sunday while out of state. Of course, one resident in reference to the concern where the bull shots around the house. I came back in town this past Monday, went over to address the concerns of next door neighbor and the house in the corner. So on that standpoint, we are definitely doing some things for as far as reclamation process. On the same token, we went up to the police department as well, talked with the detective in charge. And the person in question was not a resident of our home. The actions of my son, however, was not condoned. Of course, things got out of hand. Apparently, you're right, in the afternoon, as far as during the daytime. So first of all, I want to say I do apologize, but unfortunately, he's dealing with the repercussions of his actions and a very extensive conversation with me on moving forward. The person in question, because of the scattering of the kids, is why there's not, if any may have information for me, great. But the concern then was who it was. For the youth, as you all know, they love social media, so I'm asking anyone who comes to the video to obviously post it. So unfortunately, at this time, the only thing I can do is just wait for other concerns. If there is any recourse or repercussions for my son's actions, wholeheartedly he will stand justice and deal with what he has to deal with. And I've made him aware that now he is 21, so there's no saving him. So whatever recourses do happen, we will take full responsibility.
That'll come from the police department.
Yes, yeah, at this point, it's no investigation.
Thank you very much for coming here and putting some minds at ease and for being responsible.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the homeowner, so
Mr. President, I have comments too, please.
Excuse me, I'm talking. Okay, well, thank you very much.
sure.
Are there any other public
Yes,
comments?
here.
Sir?
Mr. President, I'm Alan DeGenero. I'm Deputy General Counsel for JP Mascarison. I just wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about your actions tonight. I've been with the company 34 years. And first and foremost, I want to tell each of you that we valued our relationship with the borough. We've appreciated the business that we've done with you over these past few contracts for the collection and recycling as well as the disposal. And frankly, your trash and recycling program that you have is a pretty comprehensive one, and I think your residents have come to expect that program. And I think our company's record of service during the 2 contracts or 3 contracts we've had with you have been excellent, as evidenced by every quarter.
Yes, sir, I'm gonna stop you right here for a second. As you know, that is on the agenda. We are going to be discussing it and possibly taking action on it. So, since you do represent Mascaro, I appreciate if you would wait, and then I will entertain your comments at that time.
Fair enough.
Okay? Thank you. Mr. J. Now
Mr.
it's your
James.
turn.
Good evening. Adrian J.
Good evening.
48 Cardinal Road. Good evening, Council. On the proposed award of the 26 yard waste contract to JP Mascara and Sons, I'm speaking tonight to the fact that they were the only bidder. 8 haulers attended the mandatory pre-bid meeting. And if 7 walked away, that tells us that the RFP was flawed, too narrow, unclear, or otherwise unworkable. There is no urgency to award this now. Collection wouldn't start until March 2026. We have time to fix the RFP, re-advertise, and get competitive bids. A simple drive through the borough, and especially the alleys, shows extremely low participation in yard waste collection. In Berkshire Heights, where homes are close together, trucks run entire routes with almost nothing to pick up. That's wasted fuel, labor, and money.
Other municipalities have found more innovative ways to manage yard waste without burning gas for empty streets. We should follow their example instead of locking ourselves into an expensive, low use service for 3 more years. Finally, I also oppose the appointment of Heidi Massano as borough solicitor. Nothing against Heidi Massano, but making such an important appointment months before an election without a transparent process undermines public trust. This decision should be deferred until after the election and handled through an open, competitive process. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your opinion. Are there any other public comments this evening? Okay, hearing none. We will move on. In your council packet, you have the minutes of the July 8th council meeting, the July 28th special council meeting, and the July 31st special council meeting. And I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Motion is second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to the consulting engineer's report, Mr. McCarthy.
Good evening, everyone. As you can see by the length of our report, we had a busy month this month with a lot going on. And I know you have a long agenda, so unless there's questions specific on that, I will hold off on that. On it, going into any detail, we do have a change order from Gordon Baver this evening for the Berkshire Heights Playground. And this would be to remove the existing timber guide rail system and install a, as everyone calls it, the pre-rusted type of guide rail that looks rustic. So they have a quote they actually attached from Promax. It would be to remove and replace 240 feet of the real name of it is Court and Guide Rail, but everyone calls it rustic guide rail. And that change order is in the amount of $22,001.25. Because of the construction timing schedule of getting it completed, we couldn't wait to go back to infrastructure and come back to council as we normally would process it, but yes.
The wood rail is starting to rot away. Correct?
Yes.
This is the same metal guardrail that's at Wyoming and Parkside Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm familiar with the style. I just wanted to make sure.
There's a motion second. Further question on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you.
Motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Police chief and mayor's report. That the police chief is in the middle of a situation, but we do have the mayor here this evening.
Thank you. I'll just give you a very brief synopsis of a few things, and then, of course, if you have any questions, and I can't answer them, I will get them answered, of course. As you'll see, as usual, we have been involved in a lot of interaction with other departments. Pretty much as usual, we gave more assistance than we received, but I view that as just something that comes with the responsibilities of being a big department, and that's well respected. So we do give a lot of aid, and it's usually more than we receive. You'll also note on here that there is a kind of a very brief description of the 4th of July. The 4th of July has become a heck of a big deal. And Randy has done a fantastic job as he's learned how to operate it and improve upon it. We also got a lot of cooperation from others, Michelle, Jim Babb from Public Works, and so on. But we convened a meeting of the West Side EMS folks, the West Side Emergency Management folks, led by Tom Boucher. We had the police, of Wyomissing, and myself and Bill Jenks were there. So we got together and talked about things. I mean, this is kind of a matter of the world we now live in, and we didn't want to become any sort of fighting target, I'll call it. So we carefully fighting, and you may have noticed there were more um, uh, trucks parked in certain strategic places, and some of those water-filled things that look like a concrete barrier, that sort of thing. We also had more of a tummy tucci from the EMS folks. Made arrangements for us to have a couple of different spots where the EMS folks were available. A couple years ago, we had one of the mummers that was here have a medical issue or that sort of thing in the middle of the break. And sometimes it's a fairly long walk, and people think they're in better shape than they actually are, and we have some issues. So we were better prepared for that. We had some folks here at the Borough Hall that were monitoring things, and we also had some facilities down at the Stone House at the end of the pool. So I think we did a good job of keeping an eye on things and making sure it all went well, and I'm happy to report to you that everything went very well. That we learned a couple of things that we might tune up a little bit in the future, but I think it was successful. It's a shame that those things are necessary, but I think we would be irresponsible if we didn't look into some of those things. Before I ask for any comments any of you may have, I also wanted to note that there was a letter to the editor in the Reading Eagle this morning that criticized the borough for not participating in that night out thing, kind of a nationwide effort, I think. In our conversations, we found that there's not a whole lot of response to those things, but I want to assure you, in no uncertain terms, that the police does a fantastic amount of community policing. There was an event over at the library last weekend, and the police were there. Our police officers routinely go into the schools and talk to various classes about things. The chief has gotten a heck of a program that you've heard about in the past, where he'll go into employers and to various community groups and talk about the active shooter stuff, which again is one of these damn things that exist in our world today. So I believe, and I've encouraged our officers, they're driving around on patrol and they see some kids having a lemonade stand, pull over and have a cup and shoot the ball a little bit, that sort of thing. And I know that happens. So I am very confident and very anxious to report to you that I believe that our community policing is second to none. And that would be now your opportunity to ask any questions you might have. If I don't know the answer, I'll get you one.
I just wanted to add with that, not only with all the community policing that's done at the high school, but let's not forget what's happening at all of our playgrounds. The police department is down there constantly talking to all the kids during the summer. You know, you can attest to that. So, that letter was certainly full of misinformation. So, but a lot of other things are as well. So, uh, I do have one other comment I wish to make.
Well, I wanted to say, I did forget to say one thing. There was an obituary that Carol Gardecki from West Lawn passed away. She had worked in when we had a communications center here. She worked there for many years. She was also a borough council person up in West Lawn before West Lawn merged with Spring Township and so on. Did a heck of a lot of community-oriented things and was a good friend of our department and our borough. So I did want to mention Carol.
Not only is Carol, first of all, I had the privilege of working with Carol Gardecki for many of those years, and not only as the part-time police dispatcher for Wyomissing, but at that time, West Central Berks Zone 4 Fire was dispatched out of the Wyomissing Police Department, and that involved 19 fire companies in western Berks County. So there was a lot involved. I really had a great admiration for her, and it was sincere
So do any of you have any questions that I might try to field for?
I don't, it's not really a question, it's more of a comment. I noticed that, and Chief usually addresses these, when we did the speed summary on Lawndale. Obviously, everything looks within the guidelines. What I'm noticing is that the violation threshold is a speed limit of plus 10 miles per hour, which seems like nothing when you're going 60 or 70 miles per hour. But when the speed limit is 25 miles per hour, a threshold of 10 miles per hour is 40% over the speed limit. So I think that's skewing our numbers. I don't know if this is something that is standard.
That's state mandated.
That's state mandated standard. That's fine. I just think we need to consider that when we're looking at the numbers, because 40% over 25 miles per hour is pretty brutal on such a narrow road.
If you see the amount of citations or the traffic stops that are made in the hills, you'll see some people get a citation and others they're given a warning. You see that on the police law.
Yeah,
Okay?
no, I'm
The
aware
ones
of that.
that are getting the warnings are the ones that are, like you said, they're at 9, 10 miles an hour. They're right there at the threshold where they can't legally receive a citation, but they're at least pulled over and told to knock it off. So that's where that falls in.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I just know that narrow road is a real issue for the residents, and I just wanted to point it out.
well, thank you for that. I will bring it up again with the chief when I next speak to him.
Yeah, I hope to bring
But
it up.
it's- But, well, thank you, that's a good idea, but it's something that they're keeping a close watch on, I would say. Unless there are any other questions, I'll ask one of you to make a motion to accept our report.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Moving on to fire chief's report. I'm assuming everyone has received it, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I'll just entertain any questions you may have with it. Yes. So, just the one thing, I will point out that, our response time is 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's the time that the tones drop until the fire truck is on the street. Okay, that is way below the National Fire Protection Association standards. So, and that also affects everyone's fire insurance on their properties. So, our guys are doing a heck of a job. Are there any other questions with that?
I would just like to recognize Captain Seitz for pulling that together for us very last minute and having to figure it out as he kind of went.
I'll entertain a motion to approve fire. Motion and second. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Moving on to committee reports. Recreation Board, Mr. Weinhofer, Mr. McKinley.
Thanks so much. So the rec board met on July 15th at 7 p.m. We did have some conversations with, obviously, our heavy time of year right now, so all of our big events were in full swing. We're kind of in the wrap up from 4th of July. I am still in the process of compiling that information for feedback and some action items out of 4th of July. Additionally, we're looking to adjust some of the subcommittees and try to turn them into more of a closer to year-round role to try to make sure we stay ahead of some of the issues that have just been creeping up as we have been going along. And other than that, I'll turn it over to Randy.
Thanks, everybody. I have to admit the chair is a little different here. Like Rick said, we kind of wrapped up our summer program and fall really got kicked off this past week. We had a summer concert series, which was the end of the summer playground program with the Children's Lantern Parade and the Ringo Band. That was always a great event, a lot of tradition behind it. We introduced something new this year with the actual midnight swim, which
We had over 200 people participate. It ended up being a teenage party. Is the best way to put it. A lot of parents came up to me and said, "Hey, it's a safe place for my kids to go," and they get to stay out till midnight, so they are very thankful. But to have over 200 people, I thought was a great turnout for that. Saturday, we launched our first Movies in the Park. A lot of you guys have seen it. We had about 100 people show up. A little less than we had last year at the Hills, but still felt good about it. Upcoming events, we're having our end of summer splash at the pool next Friday. We have the band Vinyl Rush. It's some early 20s kids that have a great following and from the local area. So we're expecting a good turnout for that. Stargazing in the Park starts on September 12th. And then our next two movies are the 20th and the 27th. From a programming standpoint, the playground just ended up last week. We had 563 participants, and the revenue generated was over $70,000. So we felt really good with that. We didn't quite get what the forecast was, but we were extremely happy with those numbers. Pool memberships, as of today, we have 381 active memberships, and the revenue generated was $110,800, which is more than last year as well. Lessons wrapped up. We had 45 registrations, generating almost $6,000 in revenues. Swimnastics had 21 participants with $2,300 in revenue. And something new we introduced was sweat aerobics, aqua fitness, every Wednesday night. And so far we've had five. We've had 104 participants and generated over $1,100 in revenue. And the newest one is Swim with the Mermaids. Unfortunately, we only had two of them. We've had 14 participants and a little over $200. So that's really all I have for you from an update. Unless you have any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Weinhofer, Mr. McKinley? Hearing none, I'll entertain the motion to approve. Motion is second. All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Moving on to the Infrastructure Committee, Mr. Moak.
Mr. Bernard is not here. Motion is needed to table approve or deny rejecting the designated day of the week for street sweeping across the avenue. And I remember the discussion. There's some debate on whether it should be an approved date or approved week because of various other people who wanted to approve week. And I'm not sure where we want to go there, but that's the nature of the debate.
If I can just add some things sure to that. This topic has been brought up in the past, and there's several aspects to it. If we do it for Dolphin Avenue, then every other street they're going to want their own designated days. That's just not possible. The other issues that if some sort of a public works emergency would arise and the operator of the sweeper has to go on a dump truck or something, then obviously that's not going to, the street's not going to be taken care of that day, and then people get upset and call in here and complain. So we try to take care of that street. We know the trees are dirty, but we're trying to do what we can, but we just can't designate a day to clean that street. Jim, you want to add?
I would agree with that. We could stick by that 80% of the time, but 20% of the time things do come up where we couldn't commit to that day. And I agree with you also that if it's good for one, then others will want it. And for sure, we couldn't give the whole borough an assigned day for street sweeping. It's undoable. The street is dirtier. It is a little unique. The only thing I would
Those streets are how old?
push
It's not like
100.
we just planted them.
I would just add this to it too. As we spoke at infrastructure in the last 6 months, with the proposed street work on Dolphin Avenue in 2027, 26 of those trees will be removed over the next year or two, lessening that burden. We have not discussed as a whole as far as replacements. Arguments can be made on both sides of that. They are very dirty, but driving down that road on a hot summer day in that cavern, what I call a cavern, is great. Parking is it. And just so everybody's aware, with leaf collection and street sweeping, different entities. Those east-west streets with parking on both sides, Delaware, Dolphin, Cleveland, they do have assigned days for leaf collection because we could not collect leaves with parking on those roads. So there is assigned days for certain roads for leaf collection because it has to be, but not all roads. Want to make that clear. Sure.
Approximately what percentage of the cars are out of the way when you guys do street sweep those that?
I would say when we were on a regular cycle on Dolphin Avenue, 60%, I would say, compliance. With leaf season, people are a little more desperate. And I would say compliance during leaf season is 80, 90%.
But so what you say, so 60% of people are out of the way, but they don't know what day you're coming.
They used to.
Now that they don't know what day you're coming, how many
Yeah.
cars are on the way?
No.
Are we going more regularly because we don't have an assigned?
It
Because
does.
the cars don't have to move.
We are
It's costing us more money?
we are aware of the dirtiness of those trees, and Dolphin Avenue does get swept more than some other streets. But there's not a lot. Right. Correct. That's correct. I think that's what we're debating.
Yeah, I guess the question is, does it have to be swept less often if the cars are moved because it's such a dirty street? And would creating a specific day allow you guys to sweep it more efficiently and therefore use less labor going up and down that street more? I don't.
There's no doubt without any cars on the streets more efficient. I can't argue that. It's just fairness to the rest of the residents.
And I mean, also keep in mind the request was coming from the Assistant Public Works Director at Infrastructure that this is going to be a very hard schedule to keep, and we're setting ourselves up for failure by attempting to do it.
It could. Would we be 100% compliant? Doubtful, but right. Well, when you don't come, you get.
Yeah.
I think they're more grateful than. Yeah. Well, we're just looking for guidance from the.
I agree. I think, nothing has really changed since the last time we discussed, yeah, we would service every street. We're servicing that street, as Jim said, more than we are any other street because of the effects of the tree. We would be setting ourselves up for failure. Well, I moved my car and it never got swept. When are you coming to do it? And now the whole schedule just gets entirely, dismantled, if you will, for the entire week. So we're, as I said, we're setting her up for failure. I'm going by past experience.
I'll make a motion that we approve, reject,
And I will second that. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? In opposition? Motion passes. Request is denied.
So we have some money bills today. Your motion is to approve payment application number 1, the amount of $35,378 in sewer specialty services for the Spring Street storm sewer pipe lining, and I'll make that motion.
We have a motion and second. Question on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reimer? Councilmember Mokel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Motion is made to approve authorizing payment of payment application number one in the amount of $154,202.10 from KBC Construction LLC for recent water project work. Where was that done, Jim?
Holy Street.
On Holy Street. And I will go ahead and make that motion authorizing payment.
We have a motion and second. Question on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer? Councilmember Mokel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Motion is needed to approve authorizing change order number 4 in the amount of $3,700.58 to Construction Masters Services LLC for the installation of a trench drain at the Stone House. I'll go ahead and make that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Question on that motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
And Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer? Councilmember Mokel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
Next is a motion is needed to authorize payment of payment application number 1 in the amount of $4,050. Gordon H. Baver, Inc. for the bond and insurance requirements for the Berkshire Heights Playground project. I'll go ahead and make that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Question on that motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reimer? Councilmember Mokel?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President James.
Yes.
And lastly, motion to approve the quote received from Brennan Company in the amount of $27,400 for sealing the Stone House pond. As everyone will recall, there's some leakage there. We hope the sealing of the whole thing will alleviate that leakage. So, and then we want to get it done so it fills and we can have skating there. Time is of the essence somewhat. I'll go ahead and make that motion. Yeah. This is Sunday Street at 6 o'clock.
We have a motion, we have a second. We have a motion and a second. Question, further question on the motion?
This is an unbudgeted line item.
It is an unbudgeted item, but one of necessity. Are there any other questions?
I'll just say that the pond doesn't freeze in December usually. We obviously don't even get cool temperatures in December anymore. And perhaps this could be a budgeted line item for 2026.
We would risk ice skating this winter because it has to be done in warm weather.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. We're not spending the budget. Accepting it for approving the expenditure. Okay.
Need a motion to accept the report.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to Park and Shade Tree Commission. Mrs. Brunner. Oh, thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mr. President. Park and Shade met on July 23rd at 1 p.m. We have had the privilege in the recent meeting to have not only Jim and Greg there, but also we had our tree department and parks department leads there, Greg and Dwayne, just to keep us abreast of what's going on. Something that we sort of learned at the last meeting was the parks department is working their butts off, and they are what appears to be short-staffed, but what we're realizing is that a lot of the parks people are actually spending a good portion of their time on street work, on what is it, grounds and building and grounds?
Streets and
Buildings
other
and grounds.
Other
Buildings and grounds, yeah.
other property.
For example, and I think some of this is in here, the Parks Department spent 96 hours in the streets versus 140 hours on the parks and the playgrounds. So they're spending anywhere between 30 and like more than 30. Back in June, they spent 215 out of 320 hours in the streets, so 2/3. So the Parks Department is working shy. The Park and Shade Commission has developed an outreach subcommittee to create some volunteer work to help the Parks Department do some of the things that need to be done in the parklands related to stewardship plan that was created for us. But long term, I think we need to look at, do we have enough staff in the building and grounds department, and do we need to add staff to that to figure out if we have enough park staff for our parklands, if that makes sense. The most upcoming volunteer plan that we have is I met with Greg and Dwayne to talk to them about under the Enchanted Forest, under the pines. And I'm going to get together some of my outreach committee members to help clean up some of the underbrush there. We're going to remove it from the pines, take it to the outer edges where the Parks Department can then just load them in trucks and move it out. This is going to help with fire safety and just overall safety of people walking under those pine trees. Outside of that, we have a few motions, and I can give you some background on them. We never had motions. So the first motion is in lieu of a lion statue donation. This was a resident who wanted to donate the statue to us. I believe you've seen the photos. It is a very large cement statue that is not in pristine condition, and knowing personally, cement statues outdoors are difficult to deal with. They have to be sealed or they fall apart. We didn't feel that it was a good fit for the parklands and suggested as a commission that they consider talking to Penn State or somebody else, and the Park and Shade Tree Commission is requesting you deny accepting the lion statue donation. I will make that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the motion? Okay, hearing none. Motion to deny accepting the lion statue. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. The statue request donation is denied, but who did this come from?
I can't think of her name, but you have spoken with her.
She's a resident, yes.
Yeah, she's a resident.
If we could just draft her a letter, thank you for thinking of us, but this is our decision. But we appreciate being considered.
I spoke with her after the Park and Shade meeting to let her know the recommendation was not favorable to accepting the statue and gave her some suggestions for other locations that may be interested, and she was okay with that.
The next motion is about the West Reading Wyomissing Rotary Club wanting to install a peace pole, which is basically a tall pole, plastic, and it has, I believe, I can't remember what the wording is, but it was about peace and joy, and it is going to have it in 8 different languages. Those 8 specific languages chosen for the peace pole were based on the foreign exchange students that had come into the area recently and the languages that they spoke. As a commission, we decided that this may be better suited for either the library or even the school, considering it was honoring the students that came over here to study. And I'll state that as a commission, there is a concern on my part of allowing too many people to bring objects into the parklands, and then it just becomes this plethora. So I don't want to create a precedent. So I would like to make a motion to deny the request from West Reading Wyomissing Rotary Club to install peaceful at the Stone House in the Parklands. With the understanding that Michelle and I spoke, and we did talk to her about the library and the school being good locations for this pole. I really love the idea. I just think there's a better location for it. So that is my motion.
And coincidentally, the superintendent of the school district is also a Rotary member.
Oh, so you might love it.
She, yes.
She.
I went online and I did a little research on this, and I agree, the idea of it is phenomenal. But what I saw online also wasn't just a pole sticking in the ground. There was nice paving around it, hardscaping done. Okay, so, now we're getting into an expense for that, so I wholeheartedly agree. I think the library or the high school is better for this. So we do have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second to approve the rejection or the rejecting of the peace poll. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay,
The next motion is I'd like to request that we approve accepting the proposal provided by Schultz Morse Management and Consulting Services at a cost of $3,000 to prepare the forest plans. We already determined that this is the lowest cost. The state cannot do it.
The state does not do
The state
this.
does not do that. When we wrote the motion, when we discussed it in the commission, there was a consideration that the state would be able to do this at a cost lower than $3,000, of which that is not the case. So I would like to make that motion to approve accepting the proposal provided by Schultz for $3,000.
questions on the motion? I have one. When I read the minutes on this, it said if the funds were not available, that they could be taken out of your 2025 budget of $20,000. Is that still accurate?
Yes, those funds are still available.
Okay.
I think it was, if the funds weren't available in grant money, we could pull it from.
We won't find out if the conservation district is offering grant money for forest management plans until probably October. Mr. Schultz has indicated based off his workload, he's not starting this until probably late 25, if not 26. So, options are either go after grant money from the conservation district, use a portion of the 20,000 in current year's budget, or carry over and budget for 26.
Yeah, we have not fully used the $20,000. In addition to the $20,000 that was put in the budget for the Parkland stewardship plan, we have Michelle has also raised another $25,000.
We're up to, I think, $55,000.
$55,000 in grant funding. So it might not even
Not
hit
just me.
that 20.
Not just me.
So
There's a collective team behind that.
I'm giving you all the credit.
do you want to amend your motion to have that 3,000 taken out of your budget allowance?
Yeah, no, it's just, I think it would just come from wherever. It was this contingency was a time when the state could do it for free. So I'm just requesting that we approve doing it for $3,000.
Okay, so what you have in your minutes is different than what you're proposing, okay? Or did I misread that wrong?
No, the proposal on tonight's agenda says a motion is needed to approve, table approve or deny, accepting the proposal provided by Schultz Sports Management.
Now, I'm referring to your minutes. Alternately, the plan to be paid for using a portion of the $20,000 the borough budgeted for implementation of the forest stewardship plan.
Right.
This was a brief discussion that the state may be able to help with the forestry plan, so Michelle will reach out and double check. Well, now we know that the state can't do this, so.
Right, but it also says about their grant funding to cover the $3,000 cost may become available through Berks County Conservation District in the fall of 2025.
I mean, at this point, I
Yeah,
think
it
it's
doesn't
getting
matter
into the
where.
weeds where the
Either
money's
way,
coming from.
Either way, it's within
All
budget.
I'm saying is because it's a non-budgeted item.
No,
it's
it's
in
part of the
the
20,000.
But you don't want to take it out of the plan.
We possibly do, yes.
So the $20,000 is for the stewardship plan, and this is part of the part of the
So the monies
stewardship
will
plan
come out of
is
the $20,000.
If grant funding's not available.
That's correct.
right.
But we won't
So
know.
do you want to amend your motion? Because the way, because as of right now, it sounds like you just want the borough to pay for the $3,000 out of the general fund.
Well, as you could say, at a cost of $3,000 that is within budget. Yeah, you don't say that. Yeah, a motion is needed. I'm making a motion to approve accepting the proposal at a cost of $3,000 from.
Okay, then I must be wrong, because I was just reading the
From
way it was,
budgetary
I was reading from the minutes.
Oh,
From the
yeah.
minutes of your meeting, and, which is different than what you're proposing, so, okay. So we have a motion, to spend the $3,000, do we have a second? We have a second, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it.
My last motion is do I have to read ordinance?
Yes.
My last motion
The
is
preamble.
ordinance number 1454-2025. An ordinance of the Borough of Wyomissing, Berks County, Pennsylvania, to amend the Code of Ordinances, Chapter 16, entitled Parks and Recreation, Section 102, entitled Prohibited Uses, Conduct, Activities, by adding a new subsection T to prohibit entering into garden playgrounds between 1 hour after sunset and 1 hour before sunrise, and relettering existing subsections T, U, V, and W as U, V, W, and X. And I'm asking to approve that motion. It approves not entering the playgrounds between
Dusk and dawn.
dusk and dawn.
It's the way the ordinance used to read up until about a year ago.
So we're allowing it in parkland, but we're not allowing it in playground.
At the request of the police department, yes.
Right, I understand that.
Yeah, we're just trying to
Clarifying.
remove it back to.
A lot of people you walk through the playground, I know that.
Okay, we have a motion, I'm sorry. We have a motion and a second, all those in favor? Opposed? We have, one opposition, the motion passes, and, or is approved, to advertise ordinance number 1454-2025.
I'd like to request a motion to approve Park and Safety Commission report.
Motion and second, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, the Fire and Police Committee met on July the 28th. A few items to discuss. One, I guess I'll make this, I'll wait till I get to it. Under Western Berks Ambulance, there was a motion, the committee is recommending the council to ratify the action to authorize Western Berks Ambulance Association to participate in the capital campaign feasibility study, and I will make that motion.
Second.
With a motion and second. Question on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Under the police department, we discussed the use of the continue moving forward on the implementation process of the safety stick technology, contingent upon the contractual review and approval by the borough's solicitor and implementation of the parking measure by borough ordinance. Okay. Alrighty. We don't have any further information on this. So I believe, until we do get some, I'll make a motion that we table this motion.
Mr. President says contingent upon.
so I'll take the motion to approve. Motion second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. No, wait a minute, we do have an amendment that, there was discussion, regarding the crosswalk, yield to pedestrian signs. And in the minutes, it said Reading Boulevard in the vicinity of Dauphin Avenue. I believe that's supposed to be Wyomissing Boulevard in Dauphin because Reading doesn't not intersect anywhere in Dauphin. So, I'll make a motion to have the report, amended and approved. Motion second, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to the Refuge and Recycling Committee report. Mrs. Barnett. Okay. Right, okay. Okay, sir, I'll give you the 5 minutes right now.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Again, Al DeGennaro, I'm Deputy General Counsel with JP Mascara and Sons. I won't repeat what I said a few minutes ago, except, we've been pleased to serve the borough over these past few years and appreciate the business both for the collection and transportation as well as the disposal. You currently have a bid solicitation or solicitations, and I see from your agenda that one of the issues is waiving defects of either technical or minor irregularities to another bidder. I believe it's Hollenbach. And I'm not here to talk adversarial about that, except to tell you that in my 34 years of working with the company, I've had significant experience with what's a defect and what's waivable, what's not waivable. And I can tell you from my perspective that equipment is the most significant item in this solicitation, and for whatever reason, you've been given advice that that can be waived, and I disagree with that. But having said that, and I'm not here to debate it, you're familiar with our experience and the record that we have. We're a local company, and I believe the company you're considering is based in Huntington. I don't know where the local operations are. I'm sure you'll hear about that. But I know there was significant dollar amount, and I'm sure when you looked at that, you thought, wow. And respectfully, sometimes if it appears to be too good to be true, often it is too good to be true. We're on the agenda also for the award of the yard waste, and we appreciate that. And I just want to point out to you that if you, in fact, go forward and award the bid to Hollenbach, we'll accept that. But I want to let you know that in the spirit of good faith and because of our relationship, we will keep our bid for the collection of trash and recycling open for another 60 days. The circumstances are such that the service is not what your residents have come to expect, and you want to look as an alternative, we'll keep our bid open. I appreciate your time and thanks for the business up to this point.
Thank you for your comments.
Sure.
Is there anyone here from Hollenbach who wishes to be heard? Sir, same thing, you have 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, Mr. President, my name is Richard Oculus, and I'm attorney law firm in Foxton, representing Hollenbach, Crest Type Sideway. With respect to my colleague, comments, we believe that the items that are raised in their letter are all non-material, and should you view them as a defect, which we don't believe that they are waivable. We have frankly stated we have the ability to waive minor defects. With respect to the comment related to the Huntington County headquarters of Hollenbach, yeah, their headquarters is in Hollenbach. But if you were to select a company like Waste Management, their headquarters is in Texas. So again, does meet the requirements and is also a responsible bidder and
Very good. Thank you for your comments, sir. Mrs. Barnett, I turn it over to you.
The minutes with a summary of how we got to where we are. What it doesn't say is that Mrs. Bear took the initiative and sent emails to at least 8 bidders, notifying them of the opportunity. I think that um, her encouraging folks to be interested in doing business with us probably resulted in 8 different callers attending the meeting and creating pressure to close the bids from what they were. So I very much appreciate all the work you put into it. What the minutes also do not reflect is I looked at the numbers myself, and what I found was that if council votes to accept the lowest bid, the residents will pay at least $784,000 less for trash recycling. And I think we would have if we exercise the option to extend the scale contract for 1 year. $750,000,000 potentially saved in 1 year. Every low bidder was lower than the cost of extending the Mascaro contract for 1 year. Where the 2022 and 2025 bid specs are comparable, we have different options this year. For example, one option was doing things legally, and one option was buying every other week. We did not have every other week years ago. But where they're comparable, every lowest bid received for next year is lower than the lowest bid for 2023. And every lowest bid for the third year of the contract, 2028, is lower than the lowest bid for this year. So it shows you how much we'll be able to save as a result of going through these bids. So the Refuse and Recycling Committee recommends that council approve the lowest option, the lowest bidder for each option. I will be making separate motions, so we'll have separate contracts. The first motion is to approve authorizing Polygon Trash and Recycling LLC as the lowest qualified bidder for the 2026-2028 refuse collection contract at a total cost of $1,673,100, and exercise the borough's right to waive any technical defects or minor irregularities, which has, with our discretion, is in the best interest of the borough. This deals with option 1.
We have a motion and a second, and I think we're going to entertain roll call.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reimer? Councilmember Mogle?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks.
Yes.
With regard to option 2, which has to do with recycling, we have bids for weekly pickup and every other week pickup. And you can see from the summary of the bid that the difference in the life of the contract is roughly $240,000. And we would save that money if we went to bi-weekly, every other weekly pickup of recycling. It's my recommendation that even though weekly pickup is more expensive, that we do it weekly. Overall, we are still saving money. We'll be spending less next year than we are this year. I think it would be difficult for the residents to make the transition from weekly to every other weekly, and we avoid the buildup. It's $873,000 versus $650,000 over 3 years. Still money.
It's the third. Jana, do you want to comment on glass?
Yeah, we also have a question of whether we should include glass in recycling. Right now, glass is recycled technically. disagreement over whether using it to keep the landfill down is really recycling. It's not what people expect, but there is an argument that it is recycling. We believe that because of the fees of where to take the glass, it would be more expensive to continue to recycle glass. It's also something residents are used to. So recommendation is that we include it in recycling materials. And the cost is the same for the hauler, whether it's glass or without glass.
Right.
We save money for the landfill.
It's $27 more per ton to put it in the landfill.
Cheaper to recycle it.
Yep.
I really think the residents can afford to go every other week recycling. But that's my opinion. Running a deficit because I do my share when we can do
Oh my God, the one week they missed my recycling. It was horrible. The one week they missed my recycling.
You said it's what, 630 to 800? Around 100.
639 versus 870.
Oh, so it's over $300,000. It's over $100,000.
Yeah, 240.
Okay.
Let's, why don't we first break it down and just discuss that first of all. So, what is everyone's opinion on that? My only concern is larger families, they could, they have two containers, they could probably fill that up pretty quick. Any other thoughts?
My thought is we've been running with a deficit for years. We've been eating for a general fund for years. At some point, we're going to run out of money. We don't find ways to either bring in more revenue or lessen our costs. And this is one easy way to lessen costs. If taxpayers fully cover it. Yeah, well, I mean,
It comes out of one pocket.
yeah. As long as the taxpayers are fully covering it, because I know in the past, we have subsidized the cost of refuse recycling. We are planning on passing every penny of that $240,000 on to the residents, and that's fine with me. But that's, otherwise, you've got to raise taxes,
But we also have a substantial savings too. So,
substantial savings if
yeah.
we go every other
And
week. Right.
even more,
Yeah, I know, yeah, I'm just saying, every penny counts.
we've always prided ourselves on service to our residents. And I believe initially we did have recycling every 2 weeks, am I correct?
That was before my time, if it happened.
And I don't know what made
Long
us
before my
move
time.
to weekly. I don't know that.
I think recycling became more popular in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Keep in mind, we're also going to be recycling less than we do now, in the sense that the amount of items that we're allowed to put in recycling now is a much broader spectrum than we are going to allow in the future.
We've always been weekly. It was the trash at one point, twice a week.
So what are we doing with glass? That plays an important role.
That's going to go into recycling because it's cheaper to recycle.
So
And then it's got to be, I think then we got to go extend weekly.
I would also caution what the comment that was made at the meeting about, keep in mind your recycling is going to potentially build up in the street when it is put out for collection if you go to an every other week cycle.
I agree. I'll stick with weekly. Hey, I throw out all my opinions. I'm down for weekly because overall everything is going to be less than it was.
Right.
So I'm fine sticking to weekly.
I'm sorry?
We're going to.
I don't have the bid tab in front of me. Hold on.
Yes, weekly including last.
Yeah. And then you want,
With the same caveat, and exercising the board's right to waive technical defects and monitoring irregularities which are discussion with the in some discussion, since I think this first had a motion.
Yeah, I think there's another motion. I don't know, we should have another motion
Yeah.
yet.
So what,
We've
are
only
you
got-
making that motion?
Motion to have weekly collection and transportation of single stream recycling materials, including glass, awarded to lowest bidder Hallmark Trash and Recycling LLC with a total price of $873,730. And exercise the board's right to waive technical defects or minor irregularities which are discretion is in the best interest of the borough.
We have a motion second, roll call please.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reimer? Councilmember Mogul?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
So option 3 is the processing and marketing of single stream recyclable materials. And the question is the options for including or excluding glass. We've chosen including glass, so I move that the contract be awarded to the lower bidder who is Cooper's Recycling Inc. for a total price of $235,399. And exercise the borough's right to waive technical defects or minor irregularities which are discretion is in the best interest of the borough.
it's part of the motion. The
It's
recycling and marketing were one.
Oh, I can.
She's just breaking it out.
I just think we should have to.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, you made that motion. Motion second, any question on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Mogul?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Last but not least, collection of yard waste, lowest bidder is JP Mascaro and Sons. The price is the same whether it's weekly or bi-weekly collection, so we recommend we choose the weekly option for $741,842.20. And exercise the board's right to waive any defects or minor irregularities which are discretion is in the best interest.
I still would be only there.
They were, but it's still,
Yeah, reasonable work contract.
Second. Is there a motion, a second? Question on the motion? I just have one. Are we going to continue with Monday collection? Since the residents seem to like that, they do the yard work.
The way the bid specs were worded, we now will need to speak with the hauler to determine the schedule for collection.
and I would point out that even though there was only one bid, the bid for year one, which is next year, is for $242,000. The year for year one for 2022 is $205,000. So even though we have one bidder, it's substantially more.
Very good. We have a motion second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Mogul?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett?
Yes.
Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
Ask for motion to approve the refuse recycling bid.
Motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? serves our taxpayers, not taxpayers of another municipality. We concern ourselves with our taxpayers. Okay, so, and to Michelle Bear and her staff for coordinating, putting it all together, nice job.
Thank you. And
Yes. Yes. Kudos to your folks. So you can see, there's a lot of people involved in this. So, okay, thank you. Moving on to the planning commission, Mr. Franco. What?
If you just follow the motions on the council agenda, you're good.
We have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion second, question on the motion. Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. We have a motion and a second, question on that motion. Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion second to approve, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Stanko. Okay, we're gonna move on here to the, Finance and Administration Committee report. But before we get into that, I have a prepared statement that I would like to read. Before we hear the Finance and Administration Committee report, I would like to take a moment to address and clear up the misunderstanding that resulted at the July council meeting. At no time did I or anyone else accuse or intend to accuse our tax collector, Betsy Heckman, of stealing or misappropriating borough funds. Our only intention and request was to understand the timing of tax payments to the borough. As in any situation, when everyone involved is working diligently to do a good job in their respective roles, with both parties having pride and ownership in their tasks, the questioning of policies and procedures of either party may be observed or misinterpreted as chastising or belittling. Once again, I apologize to Betsy for any misunderstanding that may have caused her to believe that we were accusing her of any wrongdoing. Moving forward, we are committed to improved dialogue, transparency, and accountability among all borough functions, and to create a better environment for all members of the borough team as well as the taxpayers that we serve. Thank you very much. Mr. Weinhofer, please proceed.
All right, thank you so much. So just some highlights for us. We had cash update at the end of July of $11,430,625. With that, we are looking to make a motion here to move some of those funds over into a 180-day term. So I will make the motion authorizing $3 million from the Cricket Prime account into the 180-day term maturing February 1, 2026.
We have a motion and second. Question on the motion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Stanko? Councilmember Reimer? Councilmember Mogul?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes.
All right, so just some other highlights for us here. In the results, we have positive variance in revenues compared to the July 2025 year-to-date budget, as well as positive variance in expenses when compared to the July 2025 budget. The rest of that was included in there. And moving along, we do have a motion about the payroll rates for 2026. There is a split week between 25 and 26. So I will make the motion to authorize using the 2026 payroll rates for the January 8, 2026 payment.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it.
And then we do have a motion here in reference to a waiver of tax payment for a late fee. Generally, what occurred is it needs to be postmarked by the end of the month, and it's postmarked on July 1st. The resident indicated that they were unaware of how it was going to move through the system, went to Harrisburg before it got its stamp. So it's in the mailbox potentially prior to July 1st, because it would not have made it all the way to Harrisburg for the stamp. This was something that, unfortunately, we had a good number of folks at the meeting, so we had a 2-2 attempts to both approve and deny the request. So I will start off firstly by making the motion to approve the late fee. So this was the motion that we originally made by Mr. Brunner, seconded by Mr. Jenks. Recommend approving the late fee of $245.91. My apologies. I was looking to make the motion that Steve made. Yeah, so I am looking to make the motion to. No, I'm looking to make the motion to waive the late fee right now. So this is the second motion. I'm starting at the second one. That's the motion that I'm looking to make. The second motion that is up there to approve waiving the late fee of $245.91. In the meeting, I did support the other motion to deny, but I feel as though based on the situation, this is the motion I put forward first here for everyone. I do think the resident has some concerns as to how the postmark is handled. I voted the way I did at the meeting because it is to the letter, but I feel this is one of those situations where we have to take some resident consideration into it without setting a precedent. So I think the motion to approve waiving that.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have a question on the motion?
Yes, you're asking that you don't want to set a precedent. My question is, have we waived this late fee before for anyone?
I'm not aware that we ever have.
So you are setting a precedent by now allowing this late fee to be waived. And what happens when what happens next time? Are we going to waive it next year for the next person?
Well, it's waived because the form is the postmark on June 30th.
I understand.
Okay, but obviously it was mailed by June 30th, or it would have made Harrisburg by
This gentleman called me.
He's asking if we're doing it this year. Let me continue on my thread. If we're going to waive the fee this year, any mail that comes through next year postmarked July 1st, we will then also waive.
It was postmarked already. I don't think it's completed. This is this office. But if it's postmarked
anywhere, that's why you usually
It
send
goes
out.
to Harrisburg. Our mail goes to Harrisburg, all of it.
Right,
It
so then,
doesn't go any
so,
other
so,
place.
so then the next
And
one
then
would
it
be
comes
those,
back here.
right, so they all get postmarked next year. So next year, if something is postmarked on July first, we will waive the fee if it's postmarked July first in Harrisburg.
We weigh as, you know, like
Well,
we
I
do with
would
all of
say
them. We
we're
weigh them as they come in.
Right.
Like the same thing that we've done with water and sewer bills when there's been an issue with those. Okay, here's a situation where the gentleman was not aware that our mail was being processed in Harrisburg. Thought it was still being processed here. Okay, so he mailed it on the last day, you know, of the month. Okay, if it went to right in the appropriate time, it went to Harrisburg and was postmarked in Harrisburg late. This gentleman is a longtime resident of the borough, has never been late with a payment. So all I'm saying is, I said I will present it to council, and you know, but understand that if they agree to do this, this is a once and done time, okay? Any further, you must pay it. Now, in addition, that this gentleman also contacted the county treasurer. And the county treasurer was in full agreement with waiving the late fee, but would only do it if the borough would agree.
I'm in full agreement with what you're saying. I'm,
Well,
but,
that's the statement.
right, right, I'm in agreement, I'm not against waiving this fee for him, and I agree that it shouldn't happen again for him, but if it happens to somebody else next year, and it's postmarked in Harrisburg on July first, are we going to waive it for them?
We'll waive the circumstances.
We've set a precedent now that we've said it's.
You only set a precedent, you do it second, third, fourth, and fifth time. You do it once, it's once and done courtesy, that's what it says there, the motion.
Plus, we've already said, never, ever.
You, tax collectors are not allowed to take a payment if it's postmarked after 6:30. That's the regulation. Doesn't, you can't have any extenuating, sir, I mail it, but the thing's going, went to
She never take the
Harrisburg,
payment.
but
She
it doesn't
returned
matter.
it.
But it has to be, the envelope must be postmarked 6:30. If it's after that, they cannot accept the payment. That's the rules. Period. Now you want to have an exception to it. You're opening Pandora's box. I'm sorry. The rule is a rule. I don't care what the extenuating circumstances are.
Oh, June 30. I thought you meant time.
No.
June
6:30, June 30, postmark on the envelope.
Okay, we were a little confused.
Postmark.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay? Absolutely. In fact, she got something from the county saying you will not accept payments after 6:30.
And she did. She returned.
Well, yeah, well, that's not that's not what we're talking
Listen,
about. It's
David,
just regular.
she returned the check to the owner, to the
Right,
check, to the
because it wasn't
taxpayer.
postmarked 6:30.
Okay? And that is when the taxpayer became aware that of the situation and the penalty. He called the county. The county
Well,
said that
Rule is a rule. Okay? The rules are the
the
rules.
county said that they will waive the late fee if the borough does. So that's where we stand. Oh, okay. So the motion is to waive the fee and as a one-time courtesy, and we have a second on that motion. Is that correct? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Roll call,
Councilmember Mogul?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes. Vote is 4-2, motion passes.
Before you get on to the next item, I made Jim aware of this for budgeting purposes, and he made me aware that he surprised himself and everyone else and actually put this in the 2025 street work, so it's already being done.
So my comment was going to be that I requested this over a year ago.
And it happened, but
And
you put the
I
bid
said,
together
like,
so long
can
ago,
we
I
put
had
it in
forgotten.
the next budget? And then you're telling me it's not in the budget, and you're gonna ask me to move it here, which is what I was gonna do, because I'm not gonna approve the bond either. But I'm glad it's in the budget, because that's what I asked for.
So it's getting done.
So it's in the budget, and the motion doesn't have to be,
Table it.
Table it.
I make a motion with that.
Go, Jim.
okay. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the finance administration report.
I don't remember
Motion
what I did
second, all those in
yesterday, so I'm
favor?
not telling you.
Opposed? The ayes have it, thank you. Moving on to borough manager's report, Mr. Fair.
Good evening, council. You all received copies of the Western Berks Water Authority and Joint Municipal Authority board minutes in your meeting packet. Let me scroll through those quickly to get to the next item. I think I went too far. I did. I'm respectfully requesting a motion to table appointing Heidi Misano as the borough solicitor effective January 1st of 2026.
We have a motion second. Question on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of tabling? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And that motion has been tabled.
I'm respectfully requesting a motion to approve executing a memorandum of understanding to amend the collective bargaining agreement with the International Association of Firefighters Local 4791 to extend one time the light duty provision of the collective bargaining agreement for a 6-month period through February 16th, 2026 to allow Captain Adam Seitz to remain an active employee in a light duty status.
Somebody wish to make that motion? Motion and second. Question on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Making council aware that a blue 2013 Ford Explorer was sold on Municipid to an Ambrine Bakari, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, for $3,950. No idea where that vehicle came from, Jim.
It was an old police vehicle.
Probably got passed
The
down.
last hail damaged vehicle in the fleet.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Otherwise, a motion to accept my report, please, and thank you.
Motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, on to the treasurer's statement of operation, which includes the general fund, the Bureau of Water, the sewer fund, the highway aid, refuse and recycling fund, and the road tax fund. Mr. Reeser.
Thank you, Mr. President. All the fund balances appear reasonable when compared with this year and the last year. Actually, the last 3 years are very favorable when compared to the last 3 years. So I think we're doing very well with the various fund balances. I will remind you that in Pliget right now we have about $10,800,000 in Pliget. You're drawing very 4 to 4.35% interest. So
That's before the 3 million.
that yes, that's included in the 3 million is included in that. We just moved it out because we got a better rate,
Right.
4.35 to move it out over 6 months.
Very wise.
That's all I have. Comment? Any questions?
Motion second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Reeser. Okay, seen the accounts payable report, which included the general fund, the Bureau of Water, sewer fund, the refuge recycling fund. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Motion second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Stanko?
Yes.
Councilmember Reimer?
Yes.
Councilmember Mogul?
Yes.
Councilmember Barnett? Councilmember Weinhofer?
Yes.
And Council President Jenks?
Yes. Okay. Last but not least, we have the tax collector's report. And once again, unless I do not have a settlement report. Tabled this report in June because we didn't have it, and now we don't have it for June, and we don't have it for July, that
No.
I am aware of.
Phyllis received both.
She did receive both?
Yes.
Okay. So, I just wanted to be sure, because
Yeah, you
we
can take.
don't have a signed, report, and we didn't know. So, okay, great. For June and July? Okay, great. And second, all those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, we now come down to our public comment session, dealing with items that are not on the agenda. Do we have any public comments? Sir?
Again, Adrian Jetty, 48 Cardinal Road. On July 16, before a meeting even began, a resident was arrested in this very room, a public place, for peacefully handing out a single sheet of paper to other attendees. No disruption, no blocking, no shouting, just a quiet exchange of information in a place where the First Amendment is supposed to be at its strongest. That constitutionally protected activity was met with physical removal, criminal charges, and the warrantless seizure and search of my personal camera. When a resident can be arrested for passing a piece of paper in a public meeting space, this is no longer an open civic space. This is an authoritarian stage-managed event. And if the police chief believes that's acceptable, it calls his leadership and judgment into serious question. Council should demand an independent investigation into the arrest, the property seizure, and the conduct of police department that night. Anything less tells the public their rights are optional here. And for disclosure, I was not the one. Someone else was filming that afternoon, and he was arrested by police. Yes, charges disrupting the meeting that never ever started, and then trespassing a meeting where Borough Manager has invited him to come. That's 2 emails of invitation, yet he's charged with trespassing this very room. I think it's ridiculous. The behavior is ridiculous. You should all be ashamed of this crap.
Thank you for your comments, your opinion. This is a legal matter and will not be adjudicated through public media. Save it for a court of law. Are there any other public comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you very much.